Forces in three-dimensional space never tell you their direction directly. Some are strictly confined along a physical chain, while others require us to peel back the geometry layer by layer through progressive projections. Today, we are going to look at two representative problems. Problem 2.1.11 will show us how to bind a force vector permanently along a specific cable path. And problem 21.36 will show us how to extract a force projection onto a designated axis using the dot product. Once these two ideas become clear and intuitive, the rest of 3D statics becomes significantly easier to interpret. To organize our approach, let us categorize these two problem types. In problem 2.1.11, we see a force transmitting along a chain. In this scenario, the force follows the path because it acts directly along the chain AB, and we know the coordinates of its two endpoints. Our goal is to construct the complete Cartesian force vector. Problem 21.36 takes a different route, focusing on orthogonal coordinate projection. Here, the force magnitude and its angles are given, and we need to find its projected components onto the standard x and y axes. The logic flows into two distinct pathways. Problem 2.1.11 relies entirely on the positions of points A and B to determine the direction. Problem 2.1.36 relies on angular relationships to break the force down into components, and then uses the dot product to pull out the projections. At their core, both problems do the exact same thing. They take a force magnitude, combine it with directional information, and pack everything neatly into the IJK component organizers. The only difference is where we get that direction. If you are dealing with a chain or a rod, force follows the path, use the position vector to find your unit vector. If you need a specific axial projection, go straight to the dot product. Let us look at the diagram for problem 2.1.11. Observing the diagram, the force must align strictly with the chain AB. This is our first rule of engineering intuition. Force follows the path. We will use the global coordinate system shown in the sketch, with the origin placed right at the window hinge. The real secret to this problem is that the direction of the force is completely governed by the spatial positions of points A and B. It is not determined by angles, and it is not a guess. It is defined strictly by the force magnitude multiplied by the unit vector. So our first task is not to break down the force, but rather to find this unit vector, UAB. Let us set up our coordinates. The origin sits at the window's hinge axis. Point A is located on the edge of the window frame, looking at the dimensions provided and keeping in mind that point A drops below the reference plane into the -z region. We evaluate these numbers to find the exact location of point A in millimeters. Point B is anchored on the wall. Reading the diagram directly, we find its coordinates as well. Now, let us find the position vector extending from A to B. We do this by subtracting the coordinates of A from B, taking the absolute position vector of B and subtracting the absolute position vector of A. Next, we calculate the actual length of the chain, which is simply the magnitude of this position vector. We take the square root of the sum of the squares of the components, which gives us the total length in millimeters. To find our unit vector and write out our final force vector, we take this position vector, divide it by its total length, and multiply it by the given force magnitude of 30 newtons. To verify that our solution is 100% bulletproof, let us double-check the magnitude. If we take the square root of the sum of the squares of our three final components, the value resolves consistently to 30 newtons. Physically, because the force pulls from A toward B, the x and y components must be negative, and the z component must be positive. The physics makes perfect sense. Now, let us examine problem 21.36. This problem is not really about basic trigonometry. The real challenge is keeping track of two separate projections in space. We have a force F equal to 300 newtons defined by two 40-degree or 30-degree angles, and we need to find the magnitudes of its projections onto the x and y axes. Keep in mind, this is an orthogonal projection problem, not a standard single-plane breakdown. Our strategy is to interpret the angular layout, write out the complete Cartesian vector expression for the force, and then use the dot product with the unit vectors, I and j, to pull out our axial values. It is incredibly easy to lose your spatial orientation here because these two angles do not belong to the same plane. One controls the direction relative to the y-axis, and the other controls the distribution inside the xz plane. It is a double-layer projection, so you cannot simplify it into a single flat triangle. Let us break this down systematically in two quick steps. First, let us look at our primary reference axis. The y-axis, the diagram shows that the force forms a 30-degree angle directly with the y-axis, That means we can write down the y component immediately using the cosine function. Second, let us look at the horizontal xz plane. The rest of the force projects down onto this floor plane as a shadow component, using the sine function to yield a magnitude of 150 newtons. Now that we know this shadow component is exactly 150 newtons, look at how it acts inside the xz plane. It forms another 30-degree angle, this time measured from the z-axis. We can now split this 150 newton force into our final x and z directions. The x component requires another sine operation, yielding a negative value because the vector points to the left. Along the negative x-axis, the z component uses the cosine function. Now, we can collect these values and drop them into our I, J, K storage boxes to form our complete force vector expression. On, say, you have the Cartesian vector. Extracting the projection magnitudes on the x and y axes is beautiful and simple, using the dot product. Multiplying the force vector by the unit vector, I extracts the x projection, which is directed along the negative x-axis. Multiplying the force vector by the unit vector j extracts the y projection. When you tackle problem 2136 on your own, look out for two classic traps. The first is mixing up the two angles as if they belong to the same triangle. Remember, the first one fixes the angle to the y-axis, and the second handles the split on the xz floor plane. It is a double layer projection. The second trap is assuming these are non-orthogonal or skewed axes. That is completely wrong. The unit vectors I, j, and k form a standard orthogonal basis. Everything here is resolved through standard orthogonal projections and basic dot products. There are no oblique axis complications. To wrap everything up, every single 3D force problem always boils down to one universal template: force equals magnitude times direction. And that direction will only ever come from two sources, either coordinate pairs, where we use a position vector, or spatial angles, where we use progressive projection formulas. If you want a reliable process for every problem, follow these steps. First, confirm what you are given is at coordinate points or angles. Second, build your Cartesian components, either by normalizing a position vector or using projection geometry. Third, multiply your force magnitude by that unit vector to get the complete Cartesian force vector. Fourth, if the problem asks for it, use the dot product to pull out the projection along a specific axis. Finally, verify your work by calculating the total magnitude from your components to make sure it matches the original value. Watch out for the most common mistakes: flipping signs during coordinate subtraction or mixing up your sines and cosines. In problem 2111, students constantly forget to scale the 300mm segment or get confused about where the z displacement comes from. In problem 2136, the classic error is swapping the axes controlled by the two angles, which completely ruins the vector expression. Remember, bind the force to the chain using position vectors, and use the dot product when you need a direct axial projection. Three-dimensional forces are never inherently difficult. The challenge lies entirely in whether you clarify the direction from the very start. If your coordinates are broken, every subsequent component is just a highly precise mistake. A force never tells you its direction directly. It simply follows the path available to it. Whether you can read that path correctly, that is what makes you an engineer. Thank you for listening.